love it. You're gonna love when you really know your hair porosity and you have it down packed. Your natural hair life will change. I guarantee you. What's up, True Gang? My name is Kiela. Welcome back to the Natural True Me. If you are new here, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. If you are someone looking to jumpstart and develop your natural hair routine, make sure you go ahead and subscribe below. Hit that notification bell and like this video if you like this video. So in my very first video, I focused on how to grow your natural hair and develop a natural hair routine. Pretty much the basics of the natural hair journey and what it takes to get you started. Now in today's video, I am going to mostly cover hair porosity because that is the most important thing when developing a natural hair routine, picking products for your hair, growing your hair, and overall just having a good experience when, you know, starting out your natural hair journey. So what is hair porosity? It took me a while to really get this down pat and understand what it really was. Hair porosity is basically your natural hair's ability to absorb and maintain moisture. So what does that mean? Are your cuticles open? Are your cuticles closed? How hard is it for your products to get in your hair? How hard is it for moisture to actually penetrate your hair? Now there are three types of porosity. There is high porosity, normal porosity, and low porosity. Now I'm going to focus more so on high porosity and low porosity because normal porosity, the cuticles are not closed too tight or too open, and the maintenance is pretty easy with normal hair porosity. With the low porosity, the cuticles are tightly closed. It's hard for product to get in, but once the product is in, it stays. It's not gonna go anywhere. High porosity hair, the cuticles are open. It's easy for product to get in, but once the product is in, it's gonna go away like that. Now, after I give you all this information about hair porosity, how do you figure out if you are high porosity or low porosity? There are tests that's going around the internet that says if you do this test and the floating test, that if your hair floats, your hair sinks, you'll figure out if you're high porosity or low porosity. Give it a try. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I have not done it myself, so I can't tell you if the hair cup floating test works, but I will explain what it is. Okay, so you basically get a cup of clean water and you get a strand of clean hair, nothing with like product on it or anything. You take your strand of hair and you place it in the water. If the hair floats, it's obviously low porosity because low porosity doesn't absorb water easily because of the closed cuticles. If it sinks to the middle, you're normal porosity. You're not too open, you're not too closed. And if it sinks to the bottom, you are high porosity, meaning the water literally drenches your hair immediately and you sinks it to the bottom. And that's how you'll figure out if you're high porosity or if you are low porosity. Now, I didn't do the test and I'm not debunking the test or discrediting the test. I'm just saying that it would not help me if I was a newly natural determine if my hair was high porosity, normal porosity, or low porosity. Another very, very big difference for high porosity and low porosity is what products works good for your hair. High porosity hair loves thicker products, creams, butters, shea butters, castor oils, thick leave-ins, thick cream. And one thing I can say about high porosity hair, it has holes in it that doesn't make the curl whole, if that makes any sense. And I just want to explain this to a way that people will understand, because when I was researching this information, what I was looking up, I did not understand. And call it what you want, I just didn't understand it. So I really want to explain this the best way and the simplest way I can. High porosity hair loves protein because the protein helps fill in the holes that we have in our hair. Low porosity hair loves lightweight creams, hair milks, and things like that, because since the hair cuticle is so closed, you don't want to build so much thick and greasy products on to your low porosity hair, because it's just going to set on top. It's not going to penetrate deep into your hair cuticle. It's literally just going to sit on top, and you're going to have like a white film. So you'll notice, like, when you put certain products in your hair, it doesn't actually melt into your hair. It just kind of sits on top, and it stays that way actually when it dries. Versus a high porosity hair, they may have a white film when using products, but by the time it dries, it's gone. The air has taken the product, the white film with it. Okay, so low porosity girls, they love moisture. High porosity hair loves protein. Another way to tell if you are high porosity or low porosity is how fast your hair dries. With high porosity, your hair dries super fast. I know with me, my hair dries fast. And when it does dry, the moisture is gone with it, okay? Now, with low hair porosity, once you get the moisture into your hair and the water is hydrated into your hair and your cuticle is closed, because it is going to close back once you start to put those products in your hair, it's going to take longer to dry because the products has taken, it's in there, it's locked, okay? So it's going to take longer for your hair to dry. Another really good technique that you can use to differentiate your hair porosity and determine whether it is high porosity or low porosity is when you go to wash your hair. When you first wet your hair, how fast does your hair get weighed down by the water, or does it even get weighed down at all? So with high porosity hair, when you wet your hair, you can literally see the water pulling your hair down. Low hair porosity, you literally see the water sitting on top of your hair. It takes a while for your hair to get wet, and when it does, when your hair is fully saturated still, you still see water beads on your hair, and it's still poofy. So obviously, high porosity and low porosity hair is going to have totally different maintenance routines, hair routines, going to be totally different. With high porosity hair, when you're doing your deep conditions, after you have let it sit in and so forth, you want to rinse with cold water. That helps the cuticle close and helps the moisture from the water stay into your hair. It's not necessary to do steams when you have high porosity hair, because your cuticle is already open and you do not want to do anything that's going to further open that cuticle and further the problem that you have of the moisture leaving too fast and too soon. One thing I've learned with my high porosity hair, I don't skip a protein treatment, baby. I protein and strengthen just as much as I deep condition, because we have the holes and bonds that are not filled in our hair. We have to fill those with the protein. I know when a lot of girls start off their natural hair routine, they hear moisture, moisture, moisture. Oh, you need moisture. Yes, you do need moisture. That is basically the trick to beautiful natural hair, is a good balance between protein and moisture. But when you have high porosity hair, you already have a good amount of moisture, because the moisture, it gets in easily. That's not the problem. But you do have holes and gaps in your hair that needs to be filled. So I don't skip a protein treatment anymore. I protein just as much as I deep condition. If it's not a protein treatment, it's a strengthening mask. Because we need that extra strength in our hair for high porosity hair. Low porosity, steaming is necessary before you do a deep condition, before you wash or put any type of moisture in your hair. You want to steam your hair. And this is so that you can open your cuticles, because with low porosity hair, your cuticles are so closed and tight shut that it is almost mandatory for you to go in with the steam to open those cuticles, because you want the moisture to penetrate the hair strand and get into the cuticles as best as possible. They're tightly closed, so you want them to open. I've also heard, this is not something I've done research on myself, the greenhouse effect. So do your research on that and see if it'll work for you if you feel you are low porosity. Now, another thing that is really important for low porosity hair is clarifying your hair, cleaning your hair, and making sure that you are removing all buildup from your hair. Because like I said, with the cuticle being closed, you have product that can just sit on top of your hair, and once it's in your hair and your cuticle is closed, it traps that product in your hair. So if you go in to apply other product, it's just gonna sit on top of your hair. So it's important to clarify your hair if you are low porosity. If you think your hair is hard to manage right now, wait till you understand and know your hair porosity. Detangling is going to be super easy for you. Products are going to be super easy for you. A wash and go is going to be super easy for you. Hair porosity. So basically, after you've been given all the information about hair porosity, how to figure out your hair porosity, the characteristics, the maintenance of hair porosity, it's time to get serious about your hair porosity. Learn all you need to know. I'm not going to be able to give you all the information that you need about hair porosity, but there is tons of information on the internet about hair porosity. I will be posting more content about hair porosity on my Instagram, so make sure you go ahead and follow me there. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe. If you are someone looking to jumpstart and develop your natural hair routine, make sure you go ahead and subscribe below, hit that notification bell, and like this video if you like this video.